Tons of movement this week in the Class 3A poll. Again, my name is Cade Nissen, content marketer at IA Sports, delivering the Class 3A rankings to you guys. And this class is shaping up to be an interesting one. Honestly, all seven are a ton of fun, all seven classes. But um, we're getting to the point where we're kind of starting to see teams separate themselves. We're seeing some teams rise, and we have a team this week that jumped up 7 spots. So stay tuned for that, and I'll tell you who that is. But without further ado, as you can see, Class 3A rankings right here. Let's get into it. I'm going to turn my camera on. And 16 through 11. At number 16, new to the rankings, Clear Lake 3-0. They beat Iowa Falls Alden 63-6, and they are well deserving of a top 16 ranking. They're going to look to climb it. At number 15, Maquoketa. They are new as well. They beat Northeast 43-34. They make their debut in our Class 3A rankings. At number 14, moving down to after a loss, Central DeWitt. They lost to number 13 Solon. Number 13 last week, Solon, 41-6. So they moved down 2 spots. At number 13, Fort Madison. They were number 16 last week. They make a big jump after taking down Centerville 42-6. And at number 12, I know there's a good Instagram page that covers Hampton Dumont Cal Sports. They always post my clip. So, hey guys, your guys moved up 2 spots. Hampton Dumont Cal, they beat West Marshall 43-0, nearing their way towards the top 10. Hampton Dumont Cal at the number 12 spot and 3-0 this week. At number 11, Solon. They beat number 12 number 12 last week, Central DeWitt 41-6. Really impressive victory for the Spartans. And they've got none other than number 2 Mount Vernon coming up this week. It's the game I'm really considering bringing my camera to over there on the east side of the state. Really want to film both those teams. But Solon, they're climbing back into the top 10. I think, let me see, they started off the year. Solon started off the year at number 8, so they're kind of crawling back to where they first started. But without further ado, let's get into your guys' top 10 for this week. Class 3A. At number 10, Independence. They dropped 2 spots after an impressive start to the season and some video game-like numbers from quarterback E.J. Miller. They struggled against an 0-2 walk-on team. There's no way around it. The Mustangs were completely shut out in the first half and had to dig themselves out of a hole all night and were unable to get the job done. Walk-on has now won all 5 of their matchups with Independence, according to Bound. So Independence, they drop a few. At number 9, Assumption. It's hard to punish this team who took a loss to a very talented and 4A ranked North Scott. They scored 28 points on that defense that averaged 17.5 points allowed in the first 2 games, which did impress our 3A ranker from the Assumption offense. The simple report is they suffered the wrath of Kyler Girardi. He's just one of the more insane athletes in this whole state of Iowa, North Dakota State commit. So our ranker obviously smartly did not punish Assumption for falling to top 5 4A North Scott. So moving on, number 8, 7 spots. This team jumped from last week. Bishop Heelan. After being introduced to the rankings last week, the Crusaders find themselves taking quite the jump. I was pretty impressed with their victory over Sioux City East, and they have some great wins over Council Bluffs Abe Lincoln as well as Kemper Catholic. This has been a sneaky team to have a red-hot start to the season, and they have an opportunity to improve upon their record this week against a weaker Sioux City West team. So Bishop Heelan, 3-0, number 8 spot. Welcome to the top 10. At number 7, Humboldt. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Humboldt got punched in the mouth by a really good 2A team in Van Meter, but I don't think any of us were expecting that game to be a blowout, which it did turn out to be, a 52-14 loss. The story was a Humboldt defense being unable to stop the Van Meter rush attack, who nearly doubled them in rushing stats with 213 yards and 2 touchdowns as a team, as well as Cohen Matson getting picked off twice. This team is showing a bit of weakness in their rush game without Lance Kuhn, but nevertheless, still a top 10 team in Class 3A are the Humboldt Wildcats. At number 6, Nevada, the Wolf Pack. Nevada gets a lot of love in this week's ranking, going up 2 spots after an impressive win over PCM, 218 yards and a touchdown from Kaysen Stevenson, saying that name a lot around IA football these days. And Nevada goes up in the ranks for the 3rd week in a row as they just keep trending upward. And they are just outside the top 10 in class, or top 5 in Class 3A. And speaking of the top 5 in Class 3A, let's get to it. Creston, they stay the same. Creston continues to wash away any doubts with another great performance in the non-district game. They pound Ballard in a 48-28 effort, and they keep their spot. They take on Carroll next week and look to keep a great start going. Brennan Hayes, Cale Turner, two guys just putting up video game like numbers week in and week out for Creston, and they hang on to that number 5 spot and stay in our top 5. At number 4, Harlan. They do drop a spot, not really because of their performance. They pick up a good win, more because of the team right ahead of them, Webster City. But yeah, they take down a good 4A team in Glenwood. I love this Harlan team. Obviously with Arkfelt and Cade Sears, just more impressive wins from the team ahead of them, deserving a little jump. And that team is Webster City. I mean, taken down 4A North Polk on homecoming, down 14-0 early. Jackson Cherry steals the show once again. He had 10.5 tackles with 3 tackles for loss, while also picking up 161 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns, helping to give a boost in the second half for a 1-point victory. 1-point victory and a 1-point jump in our rankings. Again, that was a top 5 4A North Polk team that had already beaten a title contending Bondurant for our team. So a really, really impressive victory for Webster City. And with that win, I think they proved themselves as an elite team in Class 3A, the top tier. And speaking of the top tier, you got 2 of them right here. Mount Vernon continues their 2023 campaign. First ranked win of the season against the number 10 Benton Bobcats. Their offense is working efficiently, mainly on the ground, with running back Jackson Hurd picking up 145 rushing yards. I believe that final score was 19-7 over Benton. At number 1, Williamsburg. Williamsburg keeps their winnings going yet another week with a 49-20 victory over Clear Creek Amana. Would have been nice to see a little bit better performance from the Berg defense against a CCA offense that has struggled thus far, but still a strong victory for 3A's reigning top team. Williamsburg holds down the number 1 spot for the second week in a row. So, with that being said, that is all we have for the Class 3A rankings this week. Be sure to check out the rest of the rankings and comment. Let me know what you think. What do we miss? What do we hit on? What do you like? What don't you like? I love reading those comments. So be sure to like and subscribe to IA Sports on YouTube, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in.